Hello students, welcome to the lecture of subject Modern Management Practices. This is the subject which you are going to learn in this semester, semester 5th. And during first year you have learned business management. Okay, so this subject is a modern version of management. In short, we can say in first year you have learned traditional management, basics of management you have learned, all those principles and functions like planning, organizing, motivation, leadership, all those functions you have learned thoroughly in first year. Now this is your third year and you will be learning which are the modern concepts in business management. Okay, so here it is taken for granted that students are acquainted with what is management, what are its principles. That means your foundation is ready, and now we are going to study ahead of it. Okay, so which are the modern concepts in today's organization that we'll be learning in this subject. So today we'll be starting with the syllabus, which are the 4 units in this syllabus, and what are the contents of those units that we'll discuss in today's lecture. So let us begin with the syllabus. Now before we go for the syllabus, let me remind you about the definition of management, right? So just we'll take a review of what we have learned. So what is management? Management is the art of getting work done through and with people. Okay, so this you have learnt it in first year. At the same time, various functions of management like planning, organizing, directing, controlling, motivation, leadership, and communication. Okay, these functions you have thoroughly studied in your first year. Okay, now here we will begin our unit first with contribution to modern management practices. Now this is the unit which deals with what sort of contribution various management thinkers have made in modern management. Okay, so we will begin our unit with the concept of modern management, how management has changed from a traditional one to modern management, what are the changes expected in modern organizations, and what is the importance of today's modern management. Then how the environment, that means the internal and the external environment factors have undergone a change, and how the organization have to work effectively in this changing environment for its long term sustenance. Okay, so that would be the part consisting of changing environment in modern management. So this is the first part of unit first, where the basic concepts of modern management would be made clear. Then moving towards the second is contribution of Peter Drucker. Okay, now his contribution is supposed to be very significant in modern management. Whenever you learn management, as like you learn principles and functions of management in modern management, Peter Drucker's name is taken with lot of respect. He was the person who has created such an impression in the organizational or business world, that if any organization is having Peter Drucker as a management consultant, then it was considered that nothing like it. That means that organization will be definitely on the path of success or development. Okay, so that way Peter Drucker is a very famous management thinker, and his main contribution is MBO, that is management by objective. So this is a very interesting and a modern concept, where we are going to see that characteristics, importance, and how MBO cycle works actually. What sort of requirements are needed to implement the concept of MBO, what are its merits and demerits. That would be the part of first unit. And then coming towards the contribution of second management thinker, that is contribution of Michael Porter. This is again a very interesting contribution made by Porter, where we'll be learning the concept of competitive advantage. That means how to take advantage of the existing competition in the market. Okay, so this is the concept which is called competitive advantage, and which all strategies are required to secure a sustainable competitive advantage. That means if you want to stand in the market for a longer period of time, then what sort of strategies are required by you. Okay, so that consists of cost leadership strategy, differentiation strategy, and focus strategy. So all these strategies we are going to learn. Which strategy is to be adopted by whom? That means which type of organization can adopt which type of strategy. That will be learning here. And the last management thinker which we are going to learn is contribution of Vijay Govindarajan, who has come up with the concept of three box solution, its concept and characteristics. So this is something new which you will be learning. So here the unit first we cover the contribution of three management thinkers and the concept of modern management. This is what we'll be learning in unit first. Okay, now moving towards second unit, it deals with strategic management and customer relationship management, that is CRM. So in strategic management we are going to see the concept, importance, meaning, features, nature of organizational environment, which consists of factors of organizational environment, internal factors and external factors, how these factors create an impact on the organization, whether they bring opportunities or threats for the organization, how the organization should be ready for it to face all those opportunities and threats, right? So for that what is necessary is environmental analysis, right? So how that analysis is taken. Then what do you mean by SWOT and TOWS analysis? SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunities and challenges, that is SWOT analysis. And TOWS analysis is threats, weakness, opportunities and strength. Okay, so both these analysis we are going to study. They are also very interesting. And next is a process of strategic management and types of strategies, right? So there are how many types of strategies, what is the process of strategic management, which organization should adopt which strategy in which situation, right? So that types of strategies we will be learning. So this is the first part of unit second. And the second part deals with CRM. So as you know, the importance of CRM is increasing day by day. Customer is supposed to be the king in the market, which you have learned it in your marketing subject, right? So if you treat customer as a king, you should give him a very royal treatment, right? So here we are going to see that how to maintain and develop relationship with customer, a long term relationship rather. So how to see to it, you have to see to it that your customer is not getting attracted towards the competitors, and how you can sustain him, retain him with your by satisfying the customer by giving him various products, offering him various products and services in the way he wants, right? So you have to see to it that how your customer will be satisfied for a longer period of time, and how to maintain good relations with him. That will be learning in CRM. So in that we'll be having definition, features, process, techniques of CRM. Importance of CRM in modern era, as I told that in today's world the importance of customer is increasing day by day. The whole market is driven by customer, right? So you have to think about it. Then we'll be learning the concept of ECRM, that is electronic CRM. That means which are the techniques electronically, which devices are used or which methods are used so that you can approach your customer, and what are the advantages of ECRM. Okay, so this is again a very interesting topic we'll be learning. Then moving towards the third unit, it's about corporate governance and corporate social responsibility. So it is also called as CSR, corporate social responsibility. So here again one more modern concept you'll be learning, corporate governance. It means you have to maintain good kind of transparency, efficiency in your organization, and you have to get that attract your stakeholders towards your company. You have to create that faith in the minds of your stakeholders about the efficiency and then transparency of the organization, and you have to create that you should be able to convince your stakeholders that everything is going all very fair in the organization, everything is legally going on, right? So that concept is called as corporate governance. So what is that? What are the definitions, features, and what sort of role is played by various stakeholders. One of them are board of directors, then role of shareholders and auditors. So these three people play a very important role if you want a good corporate governance in the organization, if you want to create a good image in the minds of stakeholders and also in the market, if you want to have a good standing in the market for a longer period of time. This has become the need of the hour, or this has become so very important, corporate governance. So what is the role? Each one has to play a role in this, and how the transparency in business transactions would be maintained, how you are accountable to your stakeholders, and how efficiently you are working in the market. Okay, so the various roles will be learning. And the second part of unit 3 deals with CSR, as I said, corporate social responsibility. So as you know, every business is standing in the market is a result of the society. We people, customers, government, all these other stakeholders who are they're demanding the product of these organizations, and therefore these people are standing in the market, right? So every business organization must have that thought that our survival in the market is only because of the society, and therefore we owe something to the society, right? We have to give in return something to the society. So what is that something? It may be anything. You can do anything for the society, anything for a good cause. You can organize blood donation camps. You can provide help for to flood affected areas if there is any earthquake or anything in the society. Whatever you do for the society, it comes under CSR. Okay, so there is no any limitation, or there is no any specific activity which would be considered as CSR. Anything which is done for the benefit of the society is considered as CSR. Okay, so it is up to the management as to find out which are the CSR type of activities and which are suitable for the organization, which can be implemented by the organization. Okay, so it is again their personal decision as to which CSR activities are to be undertaken. But nowadays this concept has gained much more importance, because you have to do something for the society, and if you do that, what will happen? It will create a good impression among the in the society, right? When any of the organization comes forward and do something for the society, donate something for the society, anything for any sector of the society, then what will happen? It creates a good image in the society, right? So people will look at that organization, that impression of that organization would be a positive one, and people think that of course this is the organization which has spended, it has donated almost crores of rupees for serving the society, so it's a good organization, it is having CSR, it is shouldering CSR, isn't it? So this is it's a matter of self discipline. Okay, so and self responsibility, isn't it? So when you say that your organization is standing here only because of society, it's your moral duty to give something in return to the society as well, right? So this is self responsibility, it comes out of it. So nowadays this concept has emerged as a modern concept. All the business organizations have accepted CSR as their responsibility, and they are doing something or the other for the benefit of the society. Okay, and what are the areas of CSR? That's also we are going to see. As I said, there are so many things to be done for the society. So in which area, what you can do for customers, what you can do for society, isn't it? So those areas we'll be learning. Okay, so this was about unit 3. Two new concepts, CSR and corporate governance, we'll be learning here. And last, fourth unit consists about again two new concepts, which is called as knowledge management and disaster management. Knowledge management is also a new term, where you are going to see the concept, definition, objectives, process and parameters of knowledge management. And the last part of our syllabus, that is the fourth unit, it consists of disaster management. We have been facing disaster. Even now also many of the areas in Maharashtra are flooded, isn't it? So what is the role of disaster management? It has become the need of the hour because of global warming. So many environmental issues have come up, and this is flood is one of the issue. So how to deal with it? What sort of steps should be taken by the government for disaster management? Okay, so and which are the types of disasters? As I said, flood is a natural disaster, of course. There are two types of disasters, man-made and natural. So how to deal with disasters, what sort of mechanism you must be having in your country, in your organization, to help against that disaster. What are the challenges before disaster management in India at a large? We are going to see that. And last point is steps in prevention and mitigation of disaster, and certain case studies we are going to discuss about disaster management. Okay, so this is again quite an interesting unit, where again two new concepts we will be learning about: knowledge management and disaster management. Okay, so with this we'll end with today's lecture. We have discussed about our syllabus. From tomorrow onwards we'll start with unit first. So here we end with today's lecture. Thank you.